One thing that I think is important for our kids to know is that they're not just the future of the church, but they're the very active and important present of the church. And any time we can bring them up here to participate in leadership, we'd love to do that. And what a gift this morning to experience. Okay, you guys, you know they're not in here, right? They're not hearing that? They'll be back in a little bit, though, so then you can really give them the applause when they get done singing. This morning's lessons are all about health and healing and health, and the important part of that to individuals. It's important for us to be healthy, obviously, and Jesus healed individuals, but the thing that Pastor Sarah pointed out to me is that, when Jesus healed Simon Peter's mother-in-law, she was healed to serve and to participate in the healing and health of all those around. So we are healed to serve. And as we go about that this morning, we'll be taking a look at that in a number of different ways. But we all know this, right? Healing and health is important. Yet it's not always easy to pick up, and it's not always easy to do. And there's a comedian named Brian Regan who has a little bit about that. And let's play that right now.
Now, I don't know. So they sent me to my regular doctor for a follow-up, and I was nervous going because my cholesterol, I knew it was going to be high because last year was high, and I hadn't done anything different. What are the odds your cholesterol is going to plummet for no reason? Come on, 200, come on! 337, how can that be? I had Burger King coupons in my pocket. It's inexplicable. So I was nervous. And I realized that's the only time as an adult that I feel like a little kid, is when I go to the doctor. You didn't do what I told you, did you? No, I didn't. What should you have done? I should have listened when you were talking to me. What are you going to do from now on? Pay attention when you say things. When are you going to start? I'm going to start right now. Immediately. Call doctor.
So as easy as it is to understand what healing and health is all about, it is not always easy to listen and do that very thing. Yet as Sarah and I have been getting acquainted with Emmanuel and experiencing some of the other ministries, there's a few that I want to bring up this morning where I feel like this healing and health thing is something where we were listening when God was talking, right? The first one is the community meal. Toward the end of every month on a Thursday night, Emmanuel hosts a community meal. And there's a lot about healing and health in that meal. We need to eat healthy food in order to be healthy. And the kind of food that you get at these community meals is pretty darn good. Now, I don't know if it would help with Brian's cholesterol in all cases, but it's great food. But the sense of healing that Jesus is going for is a truly holistic healing. So it's not just for individuals, it's healing people to serve and to be a part of making a whole community truly transformed. And that's what healing is all about, is when it's truly transformational. It changes things. It changes the fabric of the community. And at these community meals, the last one I went to, there was a gentleman who really wanted to talk to me to let me know that he knew of some employment opportunities that were out there. You see a lot of the same people. We've been to 2 now, and you see a lot of the same people who are there. I don't see them on Sunday mornings necessarily, but this is a true community of people who gather to support one another and help one another. And any way that we can battle hunger and take on, there are people in the community of Lake Geneva who go to bed hungry quite often. And anytime we can tackle that, it is a healing and health movement for the community of Lake Geneva and even beyond. What I'm most excited about at this next community meal is there are coats and clothes and other things that are going to be given out as part of it. Am I right on that, Lynn? Yes, I am right on that. I thought so. I see a pile of stuff growing in the youth room, and coats and boots and things like that. So it's not just a great meal, but as I said, it's a community that's looking to support one another in many ways, and we'll be giving out important items to keep people warm during these ongoing Wisconsin winter days. Another thing I want to bring up is the Hearts to Care ministry. Raise your hand if you've heard of Hearts to Care ministry. Okay, hands down. A lot of you have. This is a ministry that has been trying to get off the ground for a long, long time. And the idea of this one is that we are healed to serve, right? We're, first of all, looking for people who are willing to help out for folks who need it. And by need it, the care receivers are the ones who need healing, right? Sometimes someone will lose a spouse and they won't be able to keep up with what's going on in their home to take care of their homes. Sometimes they're recovering from surgery and can't keep up with what's going on. Sometimes maybe they've had a condition where they can't drive and need someone to take them to pick up groceries or prescriptions or things like that. So the Hearts to Care ministry is designed to find people who can help and connect them to the people who need the help. Now, as you know, in today's day and age, there are a number of legal concerns that need to be managed. So right now, the Hearts to Care team is looking to meet with our church insurance provider to make sure that we're doing everything right there. And we're looking at developing a manual to kind of help ensure that those who want to help do it the right way and the safe way. And those who need the help are receiving in that help in a way where they do feel safe. I know it seems crazy, right? Why can't we just help people these days? But it is kind of a new day and age for us. And safety is very important. As our annual meeting conversation, the big thing that people wanted to talk about was security and safety and how are we keeping our... Well, that's what this is about for Hearts to Care as well. We're in the process of making sure that everybody feels safe, and when we feel safe, then we can be healthy with one another and work on that health. The last thing I want to touch on is the mission trip for this coming summer out to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. And we can show those pictures now. This summer, our high school youth group will be going out to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. We will be in the town of Kyle, South Dakota, which is in Oglala, Lakota County. And it is, according to the last census in 2010, the most impoverished county in the United States. And the unemployment rate is somewhere between 85 and 90%. Substance abuse rate is over 50%. The suicide rate is the highest in the nation. The infant mortality rate is one of the highest in the Western Hemisphere. There are a lot of challenges in that community. And another one is that for people who reach the age of 35, people who are 35 and older, half of them have diabetes. And it is because the diet that they have is often government handout food. It's not the most healthy food, a lot of processed foods. What you're looking at as these pictures scroll through here is what our high school youth will be primarily focusing on this summer. The Oyate Techa project is the youth center in Kyle. It's run by Rose Frazier. And that youth center, it is for children and youth, but it is a community center. She ends up serving between 500 and 600 people a year out of that small building. Quite often they're providing meals for as many as 200 and 300 people at a time. So whatever size youth group we can take out there, they will be able to handle us. They're used to large groups. The primary thing that they work on is something they call personal agriculture, which we would also know as gardening, right? So gardening is one of the main things that they do there. Rose has a program where they bring people in and teach them how to grow their own food. They provide them with the supplies they need to go home and make a garden at their own property. And then as the food grows, they show them how to preserve that through canning, or we've built a couple of root cellars in the past. So in my previous congregation at Atonement, we went there for 6 years already. This will be my 7th year going out to hang with my buddy Rose and all of her homies out there. it's truly transformational. Because people now are not just eating what's provided through government programs, but they're growing their own food, and many folks have potatoes and onions clear into February, March, and as late as April. But when you have your own food and you can supplement your own diet in that way, it's going to have an impact on your health and well-being. Not only does this help individual families, but they have been able to grow enough or even more that they've been able to take some of their fresh produce, some of their preserved stuff to farmers markets, and then it provides even a source of income to better help in their homes. Again, we have yet to find out how this is going to impact them in the long term, but I suspect that these fresh fruits and vegetables that they're able to grow are going to have a meaningful impact on their personal health and well-being. Here's the flip side of that, health and healing-wise. In going to this community for a number of years in a row at Atonement, what surprised me was, we expected to invest in them. And this summer, I'm looking and thinking that Emmanuel will be investing in Oyate Techa Project and all of that. What was surprising in our ongoing relationship with them is how quickly and how much they invest in us and in our kids and in sharing their culture and in building bounds of trust between Native Americans and white folks, which if you know the history, that's not always been the case. And even today, if you go to a reservation, most Native Americans are very hesitant to trust white people. There's just not a very good history there. So again, healing and health is truly transformational. And I trust that this summer will be an experience like that for our high school youth. Registration time is now. I would love students to register for this. It's for 8th graders through high school students. The total cost is $600. There is fundraising available, a couple of big events to knock that down for individuals, but a deposit of $100 and a registration, which I will have after church in hand, and you can go on this trip. As we look at these texts for today, healing and health is truly what it's all about. And I think it's important for us to follow Brian Regan's advice and listen to when you're talking. Here are the closing words again of Isaiah. And this is the kind of health and transformation that God is going for here. Dom read these words. He gives strength to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Youths may become faint and weary, and young men will stumble and fall. But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. When you consider the challenges that we face even in our own community, the challenges that we face as a nation, there's a lot to be disheartened about and to think, what difference can this possibly make? But this word that God gives us and the Spirit that encourages us is one that goes beyond what we think we can handle and into the realm of what God can handle. That the healing we experience would be truly transformational, not just for individuals, but for whole communities. And that is the kind of healing that is truly unbelievable. Amen.